All right, so we're going to dive into some advice from Paul Graham, big name in the startup world, about how to start Google.
Oh, that should be good.
Right. But hold on. For you think this is some coding bootcamp crash course?
Yeah, I was going to say.
We're actually looking at broader advice he gave to teenagers, no less,
Yeah.
about what it takes to build, a massively successful company, like from the ground up.
Okay, so like the building blocks, not the whole blueprint.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is he focuses on cultivating the right mindset, the skills, things you can start working on right now, wherever you are in life.
Yeah.
Not on trying to predict like what the next billion-dollar app is going to be.
See, now that's refreshing. Everyone's always chasing the next big thing.
Right. It's about creating those starting conditions for success way before you need to have all the answers.
So what's the secret sauce? What does Graham say we need?
Well, he lays out 3 key things: technical skills, a compelling idea, and co-founders. And get this, he says you need all 3.
Okay, so it's like a 3-legged stool. You need all of them for it to work.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is he doesn't see these as like separate items on a checklist. They're more interconnected pieces of the puzzle.
So you need the skills to build something compelling, but also a compelling idea to attract the right co-founders.
You got it. Okay, so let's break down these 3 pillars, starting with technical skills. This is where Graham throws a curveball. He tells these aspiring entrepreneurs to, and I love this, forget about chasing the next big thing in tech.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And instead, focus on mastering anything they're genuinely passionate about.
Huh. That's interesting. Why is that?
Well, he argues that true mastery takes, like deep focus and resilience, qualities that are essential for any founder, regardless of what they're building.
I can see that.
He uses Steve Jobs as an example. Before Apple, Jobs was obsessed with calligraphy, the art of beautiful handwriting. Who knew that would be relevant to computers?
Right. But, when you think about it, Jobs' passion for typography, it later influenced the design of the Macintosh, which back then was revolutionary for its user-friendly interface.
Exactly. So it wasn't a straight line calligraphy to computers, but that early interest fueled a passion for design that ultimately shaped like one of the most iconic tech products ever.
Oh, that's a great example.
Like, you don't need to know exactly where you're going. You just need to start walking with passion, and the path might, reveal itself.
So find something you love and dive in.
Yes. But it's not enough to just dabble. Graham emphasizes going deep, and that's where he brings in the importance of personal projects.
Okay, I can see where this is going. Yeah, and it's so true. Think about it. All those hours we spent as kids, right? Building Lego masterpieces or tearing apart old electronics.
Oh, totally.
We were developing problem-solving skills, getting a feel for how things work. And those are essential skills for any entrepreneur.
It's like we were all mini entrepreneurs in training without even realizing it. But Graham's point is, even with formal education, it's not enough. You could ace every computer science exam, get straight A's,
Yeah.
and still not know the first thing about building something people actually want to use.
Totally. And this is where those personal projects come in. When you're working on something you're passionate about, you're forced to learn by doing.
Right. You have to solve real problems, get your hands dirty. It's something that even the best universities can't always replicate.
Definitely. You're learning way more than just the technical stuff.
Absolutely. He uses this analogy of a sticking door, and it's one of my favorites. He says, to a normal person, a door that sticks is just annoying.
Right. It's just like, ugh, come on.
Exactly. But to a carpenter,
Oh, yeah, they see something totally different.
it's an immediate signal that something's off. They can see exactly what needs to be fixed.
It's like they have X-ray vision.
Yes. It's about developing that kind of X-ray vision in your chosen field. The ability to spot the flaws, the opportunities that other people miss.
And that brings us to the second pillar, right?
Exactly. The compelling idea.
Which you might think, okay, this is it. This is the hard part.
Right. The make or break element.
But Graham actually says ideas are relatively easy.
Wait, really?
Once you've mastered the skills and you've developed that problem-solving instinct, he says, ideas are everywhere.
Okay, so it's about seeing the need, the opportunity.
Yes. Because once you're really immersed in a particular domain, you start seeing those sticking doors everywhere. The problems we're solving become glaringly obvious.
So it's about being so immersed in something that you can't help but see the areas for improvement.
Exactly. And you know what's a perfect example of this? Facebook.
Oh, perfect example. Tell me this isn't about the physical Facebooks they had back in the day.
Oh, you know it. Early 2000s, Harvard still used those printed directories with everyone's picture, contact info.
You're kidding?
Nope, and they called them Facebooks. Ironically, right,
Wow. So old school.
right. And to most students, it was just how things were.
You didn't know any different.
But to Mark Zuckerberg, programmer who was like immersed in the world of the internet, it was a sticking door of epic proportions.
A massive opportunity.
Exactly. He didn't just complain about it, he built a solution.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Of course, back then, no one knew what Facebook would become.
You're right. It started as this way for him and his friends to connect more easily, to scratch their own itch, you know?
Solve a problem they had.
Exactly. And that's a key insight right there. Both Facebook, even going back to the Macintosh Apple itself, started with the founders solving problems they themselves experienced. It wasn't about some big business plan, just, hey, I have this problem.
And I bet other people do too.
Exactly. It was about building something they genuinely wanted or needed.
So we've got the skills, we've identified some sticking doors, maybe even got a few ideas brewing. What's next?
Well, this is where Graham brings in that third pillar of his startup success trifecta.
Okay, let's hear it.
Co-founders. He's a big believer in finding the right people to, join you on the journey.
Makes total sense. You don't want to be stuck in a basement coding by yourself forever.
Exactly. And guess what he says is one of the best ways to find those future co-founders?
Let me guess. More sticking doors.
Close. It's projects.
Ah, of course. Makes sense when you're collaborating on a project, especially those side projects where the stakes aren't as high. You get to see how people work, how they handle those challenges. See if their vision aligns with yours.
It's like a testing ground for a future startup.
Exactly. You're not just building a project, you're building relationships, learning about teamwork, shared passion.
And this is where Graham's advice gets really interesting. He argues that one of the best places to connect with those potential co-founders is university.
Which, on the surface, seems kind of obvious. But then he goes on to say it's not just about going to university. It's about excelling in your classes.
Yeah.
And not just the computer science ones either.
You're kidding.
Nope. He specifically mentions doing well in all your classes, even the ones that seem, totally unrelated to starting a company.
Like what? I can't picture a tech founder needing 18th century poetry.
Right. But his point is, top universities attract these ambitious, driven students from all walks of life. These are people who are used to pushing themselves, striving for excellence. They're more likely to have that drive, that determination needed to build something from scratch.
So it's not about the specific knowledge in those classes, but the signal it sends.
Yes. Good grades, it's like a bat signal to other ambitious people. Hey, I'm here, I'm serious, let's build something amazing together.
I love that, a bat signal for entrepreneurs. But of course, you don't need an Ivy League degree to be successful.
Exactly. There are tons of successful founders who dropped out of college or never went at all.
Right. So many paths to success.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is Graham's bigger point is surrounding yourself with those brilliant, driven people. It's a good strategy no matter what.
Exactly. Put yourself in an environment where that innovation, that ambition is celebrated.
Absolutely. So to wrap it all up, Graham's roadmap boils down to two deceptively simple steps. Build things and excel in your chosen field. Keep your eyes open for those sticking doors, those problems that just seem ripe for a creative solution.
You never know where they might lead. Such a good reminder that you don't need to have it all figured out to get started. Just start. Cultivate your skills, nurture your curiosity, connect with others who share your passion.
Who knows, maybe that sticking door you encounter today will lead you to your own version of Google.
And there you have it. Until next time, keep driving.